Without Cade Cunningham, the Detroit Pistons blow out the New Orleans Pelicans behind two other players who might be a part of all NBA awards, and another player showing why he's going to be a main part of the rotation when the playoffs come around. Today's episode of Locked On Pistons podcast.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I am your host, Khahil, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started today. Later on, we'll talk about, there's been a lot of talk about Cade Cunningham, obviously, being an All-NBA guy and whether he'll make it and, whether they'll make an exception for the 65-game rule, but the Pistons might have multiple guys winning some All-NBA awards. It won't just be Cade, and is it possible that actually happens? We'll talk about that later. And then also, I think the playoff rotation might be settling in here, and that if we are going to look for any kind of silver lining into having to deal with Cade having this injury, we might be witnessing some good opportunities given to some guys that have taken advantage of and might be securing themselves as a big piece of the playoff rotation. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but we start with the Pistons blowing out the New Orleans Pelicans. They win 129-108. Obviously, we're going to dive further into this game, but I want to start off by just saying this. And it's not like they've went through a murderous row, right? It's not like they're playing contenders back to back to back to back to back. But it doesn't have to be that. I am incredibly pleased, incredibly happy with, and not shocked, but impressed by how this team has played without Cade Cunningham. After the All-Star break, man, we gotta remember how they looked after the All-Star break and what we were talking about since the All-Star break and some of the games they had played, even with Cade healthy. And then you watch Cade go down, and it's like, man, they haven't looked their best since All-Star break. We've already been talking about some concerns, and now the best player goes down. This is a recipe for disaster. Like, it was not good. And obviously, it's still not good that Cade's out. But when it happened, it was like, man, I'm worried. And since Cade went down, in the 5 games since Cade went down, or I'm including the Washington game that he barely played in and got hurt in, they're 4-1. And they got their defensive rating 5th best in the NBA. They're up to 107.9. Now, it's a very small sample size, so there's some teams that are ahead of them because they have some crazy defensive games. But 107.9 is what they've been at the last 5 games, right? The defensive rating since the All-Star break, before Cade went down, was at 113.1 over a 15-game sample size. And that's what we were really worried about. Why isn't the defense looking like it usually has? Can it get back to that? Like, what's going on? Why is there slippage? Man, as soon as Cade went down, we have seen this team completely lock in. We have seen this team realize, look, we're not going to win with offense like that in the half court, but we can win with our defense. We are a defensive-founded team. This is our identity, and we are going to get back to that. And they absolutely have gotten back to that in these 5 games since Cade went down. And maybe, just maybe, like I said, this could be a silver lining of having to do with Cade going down, making everyone else relock in, focus, and realize what this team's identity is and get back to that heading into the playoffs. So I just wanted to hit on that. I am very impressed with how they played. I don't care if it was the Pelicans, the Wizards, it's the Warriors. They beat the Lakers. Like, I'm impressed with how they played. But let's get back to the Pelicans game. Jalen Duren absolutely led the way in this one. We'll talk about Huerter a little bit later, who was very impressive in this game. He had 22 points. But Jalen Duren, he's putting up some video game type numbers since All-Star break. It's been he has been insane. If you go just like the last 2 weeks, just go over the last 11 games. 25 points a game, 10 rebounds a game, 2 assists on 77 true shooting. He is scoring 25 a game over an 11-game stretch on 77.4 true shooting. That is utterly ridiculous. He is scoring such a high amount of points on absurd efficiency And it's not all just being given to him. It's not all just off of dump-offs. It's not all off of oops. Especially with Cade out, a lot of it has just simply been him attacking downhill, getting to the basket, and creating his own shot, which you saw a ton tonight against the Pelicans. The Pelicans had no answer for him. This game, he scores 30 on 10 of 12 shooting, misses 2 shots. He gets to the free throw line again 12 times, and he makes 10 free throws in this one against the Pelicans. Over the last few games, this is what his free throw numbers look like. 10 of 11 against Washington, 6 of 8 against Washington, 7 of 9 against the Warriors, 10 of 10 against the Lakers, 8 of 9 against Atlanta, 10 of 12 against New Orleans. If you go over the last 8 games, he is drawing 9.5 free throws per game. 9.5 free throws a game while scoring 26.1 points a game over that same 8-game stretch. He is absolutely playing incredible offensively. He has been the jump. We've talked about it, but like the jump that he's made is just unreal, man. To be able to score this efficiently on this type of volume with Cade or without Cade, either or, he's been uber efficient. Since Cade went down, he's been efficient. Before Cade went down, he's been efficient. He's been scoring he's been fantastic. And probably like even a bigger point or a bigger takeaway I have from Jalen Duren's recent stretch, like, forget the scoring for a second, which is hard to do. I get it. Hard to do when someone's scoring 30 on this type of efficiency. I mean, 30 points and 86 true shooting. My God, man. That's just crazy. But just put the shooting away for a minute. All season, I have sat here and said the scoring improvement is great, but I'd love to see him get some of that passing back because I think that could hurt them in the playoffs if he's not able to make some reads. And over the last 3 games, we've seen him have 3 assists against the Lakers, 3 assists against the Hawks, and in this game against the Pelicans, he has 7 assists in this game. He was on triple-double watch. And the 3 assist numbers against the Lakers and the Hawks don't do him justice because I watched all these games. He is back, at least over this 3-game stretch, which gives me so much more confidence going into the playoffs that, 1, he'll be able to do this, and 2, the Pistons will be much harder to stop. We are seeing him consistently make short roll reads. We are consistently seeing him, or we are seeing him more often make short roll reads as a passer. We are seeing him more often make passes off the dribble on his drives. Now, he's still going up with a lot of his drives, and it's been insanely efficient. Keep doing your thing. But along with that, we are now seeing him the last few games keep the scoring, keep the aggression as a scorer, while also unlocking some of that passing and looking for guys. And when defenses put too much pressure on you or put multiple guys on you, he's been making these reads, which has been absolutely incredible for me to see. That I guess I've kind of, which is absurd to say, and it probably does him a disservice. I'll admit that. I've somewhat become numb to his scoring because of how consistent it's been. I try every now and then to remind myself, like, man, no, what he's doing is insane, and this was nowhere near what he was last year. I try to give him that credit. But my mind has been so focused on, man, if we get to the playoffs and teams just realize, oh, he's not going to make these passes, we can just throw doubles at him. He's going to turn the ball over. We can make him inefficient if we just throw multiple bodies at him. And he hasn't shown us that he'll beat us with his passing. I've been so concerned about that potentially becoming an issue that seeing him show us that, hey, yeah, it's still in there. I can still do this. And if it just took, it took some development throughout the year. I'm getting better as the year goes on. I'm getting more comfortable with where I'm at offensively. And now with Cade out, I'm really going to unlock this. And the team needs me to unlock all of this. And we are now seeing, literally just last week, we were talking about how I want to see him get to a point, maybe next year, that you keep this level of scoring without having to turn off the score mode to activate the passing. Be in a mode where you can be a scorer and a passer at the same time. Not, okay, well, I have passing mode turned on, now scoring mode's turned off. Or I have scoring mode turned on, now passing mode's turned off. Over the last 3 games, and it's been incredibly encouraging to see. And it's been insane for me to see that he is in real time, I feel like, figuring out, I don't have to leave score mode to be in pass mode. I can be in score and pass mode, and that just makes me incredibly difficult to stop at all. It makes it incredibly difficult for any type of defense to really stop me. If they think that at any given moment, I can run over this guy, I can bully this guy, I can hit him with a finesse move, I can go to a Euro step, I can power through, I can dunk on you, I can get to the bat, I'll draw free throws, I can do that, and as soon as you show me an extra body, yeah, I can also then make that cross-court skip pass to Kevin Huerter in the corner. I can also make that skip pass to Javonte Green in the corner, and he'll hit a three. I can also make this dump-off pass to Ausar cutting down the baseline, and he'll make you pay. Pick your poison. And that's what he's been doing the last 3 games. If we are watching him in real time, put that all together at once, he is going to be the ceiling. If Cade can come back healthy for the Pistons in the playoffs, and what we're seeing from Duren over the last few games is real, that he is figuring out in real time how to be in both modes at the same time, and as a 22-year-old, that probably wouldn't be crazy to think that he's just learning as time goes on. If that's happened, the ceiling of the Detroit Pistons in the playoffs just went way higher. What he's doing without Cade as a primary creator, and now Danis has been good, so I don't want to make it seem like he's just playing with no point guard. Danis has been good. But despite that, he has had the ball in his hands a ton. And he's making these plays, and he's making these reads, and he's been incredible, man. He's just been absolutely incredible. We'll wrap it up here. The last 3 games for Jalen Duren. 25 points a game, 12 rebounds a game, 4.5 assists a game on 77 true shooting, while drawing 10 free throws a game and shooting 90%. I mean, it's unreal. It is, the numbers he's putting up is absolutely unreal. He's been incredible. Coming up, playoff rotation. Another player in this game played extremely well, and possibly, I think likely, is showing that he's going to be a big part of the Pistons playoff rotation when we get there. We'll talk about it coming up. The playoff push is heating up, and tournament hoops are here, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, and where it always feels good to be right. Every bucket, every dime, every big moment means more when you're playing on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports picks app, and it's incredibly simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. Quick, simple, and easy to follow. And the new early payouts feature is an absolute game changer. If your player gets off to a hot start, you can lock in a win before the game even ends. It's a fun way to stay locked into every game, especially this time of year when every play matters. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it feels good to be right. Now I've got to tell you guys about another one of our sponsors, TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth, and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled right. Head to TurboTax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment today with TurboTax. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. I am telling you guys right now, if you have not been watching the Locked On Pistons Squad Show with Lindsey Hunter that we've been recording on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you need to go watch these last 2 episodes. I have been in tears the last 2 episodes. On Tuesday, I was dying of laughter. And this one we recorded earlier today. I'm recording Thursday night right now. The one we recorded earlier today, Lindsey revealed something that when we were talking about Arnie Kander, the Pistons' former training guy, a legend, Lindsey revealed something that I'm not sure he's even allowed to. like you guys need to go. I don't want to spoil it. You guys have to go watch, man. It happened at the end of the pod. I could not breathe, but it's been it's been so much fun recording with Lindsey and Jake, and it's been It's been a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are checking that out. If you haven't, I'm telling you guys will love it. Make sure you guys are also checking out the Everydayer Club in the description down below. If you guys want ad-free listens to Locked On Pistons and a Locked On Pistons Discord server access as well. Also, thank you guys for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network in America. Before we move on to Kevin Huerter, who I want to talk about yet again, we've talked about him quite a bit. Since Cade went down, this is something else I just wanted to throw out there for Jalen Duren. Since Cade went down, and he's been great all year, obviously, but just specifically since Cade went down, the Pistons are plus 16.1 with him on the floor. They are 11.4 points better with him on the floor. I mean, they've just been dominating teams in his minutes. He's been incredible. I just want to give him that final shout because that's how good JD has been. That's how good he's been. But another player who got his chance in this game, and he did more than show up. He did more than take advantage of this opportunity. Kevin Huerter started for Duncan Robinson in this game. Duncan Robinson was out. Right before the Pistons started this game, they added like 7 guys to the injury report. A lot of them were probable, obviously, but Karras missed this game. Cade obviously did. Stu missed. And then Duncan missed with right wrist, injury management and right hip soreness. So Kevin Huerter got the start, and he was incredible. 22 points on 9 of 14 shooting. He made 4 threes in this game, which is the biggest story, I guess, of his night. Because he has done everything else. We've said it multiple times in the podcast. I'm going to say it again. Kevin Huerter has done everything else incredible for the Pistons. Everything else he's been so good at. But the three-point shot just has not fallen. It hasn't fallen. And one of the things I brought up early in his time with the Pistons, I was like, if he's not hitting threes, like, do you really even find a way to play him? I mean, I talked about how he was a better finisher. I talked about how he was able to do some things, but I was like, look, if he's not hitting threes, do they really knock other guys out the rotation for him? And I was talking about how the trade was more about just getting rid of Ivy. If you can get a pick swap, then you'll take that. But as time has gone on, I've slowly shifted away from that mindset of if he's not hitting threes, then should he really play over other? No, the more I've watched him, the more minutes he's gotten to play for the Pistons, and the more of a sample we've gotten, the more tape that we've gotten on him, I've shifted farther and farther away from if he's not hitting threes, you can't play him. So much so, I believe last episode I said even if he's not hitting threes, I think he might get the most minutes off the bench for the Pistons in the playoffs. And after this game, where he was able to get some threes to go, not just easy catch and shoot ones either, movement ones, I believe he had a step back one as well. He's getting more and more and more comfortable. You can see it as the games go on. He's getting more and more comfortable within the offense. And before the game, JB Bickerstaff talked about Kevin Huerter. And he spoke about how he's a much more well-rounded player than people knew or realize. That he's much more well-rounded player than a lot of people would have even guessed. And then he goes out and has the game he just had. The exact quote from JB before the game, real quickly actually, was, quote, he's a better all-around basketball player than I think people give him credit for. His playmaking ability, his ability to beat guys off the bounce, his ability to make the right reads and pick and rolls, all those things he does at a high level, end quote. And he's not lying. We've talked about it in the podcast over and over, and people who weren't watching maybe thought I was over-exaggerating. No, JB backs it up here. He is, I did not watch him a ton in Sacramento. I won't sit here and lie and say I did. And I have friends who are, a lot of my friends are Bulls fans because they're from Chicago. And when the Pistons traded for him, they were telling me, they were like, look, he's not hitting shots, but he does some other things that I think you'll be shocked about. He's able to do some things. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, we'll see. And then I looked in some of the numbers we talked about. Oh, yeah, he's finishing pretty well at the rim, his pick and roll numbers actually are pretty good. But is it real? I can tell you it is. He is so much more comfortable than just about every other player on the bench for the Pistons with the ball in their hands. He doesn't panic. He moves at his own pace. He can make pick and roll reads. He can get to the basket and finish. He's very crafty when he gets to the rim. In this game, he had one crazy finish. like a sidestep, pump fake, up and under, finish as time was expiring and hit it. It was just a crazy good move. A very crafty player, great touch in the mid-range area, in the little floater area, and at the rim. He's just a really good basketball player. Like just a really good basketball player. And then in this one, he was able to hit 4 threes. And when he's hitting threes, he's quite literally, he was one of the Pistons' best players tonight. You could argue he was the second best player tonight. Third best player, like around there. He was one of their best players. He was incredible in this game. When he hits threes, it's just like, well, what's the weakness then at that point? Because he has size, he has length, he's actually pretty athletic. Like, he's very sneaky athletic. And yes, I'm probably saying sneaky because a lot of people look at the white dude and say, oh, he probably can't jump. No, he's actually pretty, he's showed off some bounce quite a few times. And he makes some plays defensively too. He's strong. I walked by him today. I was at the game. I walked by him. He looks a lot stronger than maybe you think in person. He's not some weak dude. He's stronger. He competes on defense. He gets deflections. He knows where to be. Like, I'm not saying you're trying to suggest the Pistons just found a star when I say he doesn't have a weakness. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when he hits shots as a role player, as a guy that you want filling into that role, what is the weakness? You want guys in that role who are capable of putting the ball on the ground, making a read, finishing at the rim. If the finish isn't there, making a kick out, able to hit shots, play the right way, compete on defense, fill in the gaps where you need to, attack gaps, and keep the ball movement. It seems like he's a very smart player, and he was playing incredibly well in this game. So much so that I think we are watching the Pistons playoff rotation form out in front of our eyes. I think when Cade gets back, you'll see Danis go back to the bench. Obviously, Duncan, when he plays, he'll be in the starting lineup. And then off the bench, I think Kevin Huerter is going to get a ton of minutes, and I think he absolutely should. I hope that he just takes all of LeVert's minutes. But if Huerter can play like this, even if he's not hitting threes at a 40% clip like he did in this game, everything else he does, he shot 57% actually in this game, but you guys get what I mean. All the other stuff he does is just so much more valuable than a lot of the other guys on the bench, what they bring. Like, for example, Javonte Green. He has been so good for the Pistons all year, and a lot of it has to do with what he's done defensively, specifically off the ball. And he's been an incredible corner three-point shooter, shooting 50% from three on corner shots this year, which is absolutely insane. But Javonte can't put the ball on the deck like that. He can't attack a closeout. He can't lead a transition possession. He can't run a pick and roll and make a read and get downhill, finish at the rim, or kick out. Like, he can't do those things. He can't really attack a gap, keep the ball moving, and know where to go. Like, he's good in his role. He plays defense, spots up in the corner. Plays defense, spots up in the corner. And that's good. But Huerter just offers something that the bench doesn't really have outside of Danis. Danis provides it, but Danis was struggling for a minute. He's played extremely well since Cade went down. But outside of Danis, and theoretically I'll say LeVert, but it hasn't actually played out that way, no one else is able to do those things that we just talked about outside of Huerter. And he's doing it at a very high level. The last thing I want to say about Huerter and how he's played with the Pistons, this is how you know, this is how I look at, and I know that this guy is a really good player. Like, this is something that if I see this, I'm like, okay, what he's doing is real. Over the last 5 games, he has a 58.7 true shooting percentage. Pretty efficient. I believe that's slightly above league average. And I believe league average this year has went up to 57%. It might be right at 50. Either way, I believe that's above league average. He's decently efficient over the last 5 games. And that's with him shooting 26% from 3. A lot of times when you look at guys who are in a hot stretch, like if you look at some of these players, I'm not going to name any names. Some people might be able to guess who I'm talking about. But if you look at some names throughout the league, when they have these hot stretches, and you try and go and look, okay, you're not someone who watches the team all the time, you go and look at their stats, like, okay, what's happening? Like, what are they averaging? Like, what's it looking like? And a lot of times you just simply look at it, and all it is just a 3-point luck stretch. And what that is, basically, for those who may not know what I'm talking about, guys, if you take a lot of threes throughout a season, you get a lot of minutes, you will have stretches where you probably have a hot stretch. You'll have a few games where you hit a lot of threes, and all of a sudden your numbers will jump. A lot of your threes your numbers will pop. But everything else will stay the same. Your finishing numbers will look bad. Your decision making will still be the same. But just because you've had like a lucky 3-point stretch, your numbers are popping, and now people will fall for it and be like, oh my God, this guy's coming through. And it really is just you're getting lucky from 3 for this stretch. When your hot hand goes away, a lot of the concerns beforehand stay the same. The reason why I bring that up is LeVert is, or not LeVert. I wish it was LeVert. Huerter is showing that without a three-point shot, he's efficient. If he has a three-point shot, he's like I said earlier, he's just going to be he's going to be an incredible basketball player. He'll be an incredible basketball player for the Pistons. But the point I'm making is that even without a three-point shot, he's impacting the game. Without a three-point shot, he's being efficient. Without a three-point shot, you are seeing all the other things that he brings to the basketball floor, and his numbers and his impact that we've seen over the last 5 games is not something that's tied to a hot streak of shooting. It's tied to him just having good fundamentals and being a good basketball player. So when the hot streak comes around from 3, you'll have a game like this when it really pops and you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. And when it doesn't, you're sitting back saying what I said last episode of, yeah, he's just a good basketball player. Like, he just needs to play. He's just really good. Last 5 games for Huerter, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 2.4 assists to just under 1 turnover a game, 58 true shooting, like I said. And then in this game, hit 4 threes. Huerter's really good, man. And I'll say this, and we'll wrap it up here. Trajan Langdon, if Huerter continues, not even just a 3, again, if he just continues to play well and is one of the main pieces of the rotation in the playoffs, this will be one of Trajan Langdon's best moves he's made as a Pistons general manager or president of basketball operations. He traded a player for Huerter that Huerter's better than, and that player just got ruled out for the season. Huerter's better than him, and he got a pick swap that could move the Pistons up 10 spots in the draft and getting the better player. That could turn out to be an incredible move for the Pistons. And if Huerter continues to play well throughout the season and into the playoffs, I am very interested to see, do they bring him back? And what does the contract look like? Because he's been impressive, man. He's just been incredibly impressive to me. And he's impressing JB as well. There was a quote actually I wanted to get to from JD about Huerter, but I just lost it. You know what? Actually, no. I think I know where it's at. I think it's right here. Yeah, right here. This is actually the last thing, and then we'll move on. Duren said about Huerter after the game, quote, Kev's nice, man. Just playing against him over the last few years, I saw him as just a shooter. With him being here, I see he has a lot more to his game. He's meshed really well with the guys. Just in the locker room as a teammate, he's been really cool. You talk to anytime we've heard any of these guys, coaches, players, talk about him, first thing they say is, man, I thought he was just a shooter, but I see he can do all kinds of other things. Huerter's good. He's a good player, man. I think he's going to be a main piece of the rotation. Coming up, we've talked a lot about Cade Cunningham making one of these All-NBA teams or getting postseason awards. I think it's not going to be just Cade. Even if Cade misses out the 65 games and they don't make an exception, I think it's likely the Pistons will be well represented in postseason awards. We'll talk about it and break it down coming up. The tournament is here, one of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets, it's nonstop action from tip to final cutdown. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. You get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. You can mix it up however you want, game picks, futures, or even same game parlays for a bigger potential payout. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new. Different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action again with FanDuel. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. If Cade Cunningham doesn't get an exception made for him, because I'm almost 100% sure he's going to miss the rest of the year, which means he's not going to be able to play 5 more games. If there's not an exception made for him, and it doesn't sound like there's going to be. Adam Silver made some comments, I believe, last night, saying that he doesn't think the rule's not working. He thinks it is, and it doesn't sound like that they're willing to change anything about it or hand out any exceptions. So I don't think Cade's going to be on an All-NBA team, which sucks. With that said, I feel pretty confident that the Pistons are going to be well represented outside of that. 1, you go and look at how many games some of these other guys that could potentially make All-NBA, how many games they've played. And there are a few guys that are really coming close. For example, Kawhi Leonard's at 56 games played. He only has 10 games remaining. Denny Advia. I don't think he would make the All-NBA team, but he's one of those guys that's like on the bubble. 57 games played, he only has 9 games left. Mobley, 57 games, only 10 games left. Even Wemby and Jokic, we've talked about them a lot. Everyone knows. I think they'll play because they know they want their awards. But we know that they're close. Anthony Edwards is at 58 games played, 10 remaining games. And obviously Cade, who was expected to be on there, is probably not going to make it. Tyrese Maxey, I believe, is currently out still. And he's at 61 games with only 10 games left. So I don't know if Maxey, I would guess that he fits in. But like these are the guys, and there's other guys as well that are on the bubble that may or may not hit the threshold. The reason why I bring that all up, how Jalen Duren has played as of late, I think he's probably going to make All-NBA third team. I think what Jalen Duren has been doing since the All-Star break really, has been so incredible, and the Pistons are still going to hold on to the 1 seed. And I think the Pistons holding on to the 1 seed with everyone knowing Cade's out. A lot of people said when Cade went down, they may not win 2 games, may not win 3 games, and they've already won 4. And Duren's been crazy during this stretch too. Like his numbers are off the charts. That narrative, along with this play, will get him All-NBA third team, which means he's going to get a bigger contract. No, that's what comes with it. It is what it is. But I think he's playing himself into a third team All-NBA selection. He's been incredible. So that's one guy. That if Cade misses All-NBA team, I think Duren will probably end up on the third team. So there's one Piston. Next Piston that I think will be on an All-NBA team, Ausar Thompson. Ausar is going to make All-NBA first team, or all defensive first team, excuse me. And I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think he's probably, outside of Wemby, has to be the biggest lock of any other defender in the league. Duren, after the game on Ausar, quote, he's defensive player of the year for sure. What he does to ball handlers, harassing guys, getting through screens, it's absolutely unreal. He does it every night, and you get used to everything he does, where if he has a lapse, it's like, damn, what happened, end quote. JB also had some statements, or had said something about Ausar Thompson, and I just lost the quote. Trying to keep all these quotes in front of me. Here we go. JB says, he reminds me a lot, and it may look a little bit different, of how Ron Artest used to be when he would defend. That type of physicality, the feet, the hands, being able to be so disruptive. I don't think there's many guys who can do what Ausar Thompson does, end quote. This is what Ausar has done over the last 4 games. 15 steals in 4 games, 5 blocks. He has 20 stocks over a 4-game span. This year, only Ben Wallace has more games in a single season with 4+ steals than Ausar Thompson. And we know Ben's regarded as one of the best defenders of all time. Ausar's done that 9 times this year. Ben did it 11 in 2003, 2004, and 2005, 2006. With games to go, Ausar might do it again. He might break that record. He just might. This game, he came 1 short, but he left with 3 steals and 2 blocks. This game, he had 11 points, 4 rebounds. He was 4 of 4 from the field. I believe he made all of his he missed 1 free throw. He was 3 or 4 from the free throw line. But yeah, like I said, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 5 stocks in a game. I mean, we kind of just accept that as just normal, but he's doing this every night. He's just been insane. So I think Jalen Duren is going to make the All-NBA third team. I think Ausar Thompson is a lock for all defensive first team. And if that's not, what I just said wasn't enough of a reason to believe, or not enough evidence to show that they should be where I just said they could be at. One of the catch-all metrics that I like the most, there's a few that I respect, but I really like EPM. I go to that one a lot. Jalen Duren in EPM, actual EPM this year. He is ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th in the NBA in EPM. He is right ahead of Donovan Mitchell, slotted right behind Stephen Curry. And one of the guys ahead of him is someone who played 15 games. So impact metrics say Jalen Duren's been incredible this year, that he should be on an All-NBA third team. Staying with defensive EPM, Wemby is by far and away number 1 at plus 4.7, obviously. He's incredible. Obviously, for those of you guys that don't know what EPM is, the plus number, higher the plus number is, the better it is, obviously. So he's plus 4.7. Ausar Thompson is second in the NBA at plus 4.1. The next closest to Ausar is Chet Holmgren at plus 3.4. That's an advanced. Those are advanced numbers. Those are catch-all metrics that I like. But again, you look at the catch-all metrics, they back that up. You look at just the raw box score, if you're just a steals and blocks guy, backs it up. You look at the impact, backs it up. Jalen Duren, I think, will be an All-NBA third-team guy. Ausar Thompson, I think if it wasn't for Wemby, would win Defensive Player of the Year, is the best defensive player in the league. And then that's not even it. Lastly, JB Bickerstaff is still the favorite for Coach of the Year, and I think he'll win it, especially with the team winning games, 4 games, like I said earlier, without Cade already. If they hold on to the 1 seed, and I think they're going to, and they continue to win more games, and I think they will, not only will he have the fact that he was the favorite before Cade went down because they were the 1 seed and how well they played, and people didn't expect him to be here. Now they hold on to the 1 seed, and they win these games with your best player going down. Cade may not make the All-NBA team, and that's tough. I feel incredibly bad for him. I think it's a stupid rule. I think it's dumb. I think there should be an exception for him. Despite that, though, even without Cade, the Pistons will be represented well because they have a really damn good team. It's not just Cade. Jalen Duren will be an All-NBA guy. Ausar Thompson will be an all-defensive guy, and their head coach will win Coach of the Year. And the Pistons will have the 1 seed. This has been, even before the playoffs start, no matter how really the playoffs go, this NBA season, the 2025-2026 NBA season, will have the Detroit Pistons fingerprints written all over. They'll be all over the place of this season. Cade Cunningham, can't talk about this season without Cade. Duren will be a part of awards that will get remembered forever. Ausar will be a part of an award team that gets remembered forever. JB, I believe, will be getting an award that will be remembered forever. Their fingerprints will be all over this NBA season, and it feels good to say that now. After the long time that they were just in the darkness. One of the best franchises in the NBA now will be represented fairly well, I think, this year. And you can't tell the story of NBA seasons anymore, I don't think, this year and for the foreseeable future without talking about the Detroit Pistons. It's a good time to be a Pistons fan. That's all I've got for you guys today. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Stay safe out there, and peace out, everybody.